What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to a new video. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you all my shiny gold medal times in Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze and giving commentary and kind of a guide of how I did it. So start off, go to time attack, leaderboards, and as you can see, I was ranked 1012th in the world, which is kind of crazy. Some of these get actually really high up there. And we're going to see this time. So we're going to be watching all these replays and seeing what I did here. Alright, first level. So for most of these levels, you're either going to be wanting using Dixie Kong or Cranky Kong for your buddies. But obviously, you have to just play as DK the entire time. There's no other characters you can play as. And you're gonna really want to get used to the momentum of the game, just using his rolls to your advantage. They work in very interesting ways, as we'll find out. So here we use Cranky Kong, and he has a very interesting ability that lets you kind of have these weird momentum-based jumps with him that send you flying and can make you also jump higher. And these would become a problem later on, but for this first level wasn't too bad. Even though this level did take me like a few hours to do because I was a bit rusty. I did do all the shiny gold medal times in the first Donkey Kong Country, kind of in the new series. And that took me like probably like 10 more hours than this game took me, which is it's actually quite a bit. So as you can see, we just use Cranky Kong to our advantage while also maintaining our rolls as best as we can. And I just make it here. I'm pretty sure the time is like 1:40. A lot of these I cut it really close, and I never really played the best with all these. But now we can move on to the second level, Shipwreck Shore. 56 seconds I got on this one, so let's see where I'm at. I'm 676 in the world. Let's do this and watch replay. This one we actually used, what's his name, Diddy Kong. So we'll see what I did here. So a lot of these levels come with just memorization of like where exactly you should roll jump, and like as you can see, I'm not doing the best here, so this time must have been, yeah, I got hit so many times. I don't know how I pulled this one out. But yeah, you just want to really memorize where you have to jump and like what places you have to like release, because like with the roll you can like go off the edge with it and still maintain a jump, which is like, it's really fun, and just the control scheme of these Donkey Kong games are really fun to play around with. So you get this done. Yeah, and that's another thing. Jumping off enemies was just like a constant problem for me for like no reason. I don't know why. I always struggled with getting the timing right on jumping off enemies. But this level was not bad at all. Okay, continue on to level 3. Or we could go 1A. So we're gonna see this level 1A. And I am 296 in the world with this one. So this is the first level you'll see with Dixie Kong, and her kind of physics are definitely interesting. They kind of give you a safeguard where you can float in the air a little bit and get a little bit of extra time, but then sometimes her physics lend to some interesting use of momentum that we'll see later on in some different levels. See these ropes, or this is the first really time we use them. When you see ropes, just be thankful because that means there's not really much you can do to improve your time on those specific sections because there's no way to use ropes like fast. You grab onto them and there's nothing else you can do. You can spin, but that doesn't do anything. That doesn't make you go slower, faster, nothing. So you're good just hanging on the ropes. You see these bouncing platforms, those are going to be showing up a lot too. And barrels also are going to be very important. And yeah, these levels just require a lot of memorization of just when to do certain things. And you're going to see that a lot throughout this. If you tackle these, it's just going to be a lot of like, when do I jump, when do I hold E for long, when do I not hold it for long, when do I just like tap in, that's it. It's gonna be a lot of just like thinking it through and just memorizing. Continue on. So yeah, as you can see at every results screen, there is bronze, silver, and gold, but there are these secret shiny gold medal times, which I just recommend going on like IGN or something, looking it up to see what the specific times are. So this level I'm 525th in the world. And this might be a minecart level if I remember correctly. Or that might be the next one, I don't know. Let's see. No, this is not the minecart level. It's another level where we're gonna be using Cranky Kong. As you can see there, high jump. I wouldn't have been able to make that jump without him. Yeah, here you can see the memorization of just like going through the level before the camera even scrolls up to you. See, there's little hops with Cranky Kong. You just keep your momentum the whole time. Now, I'll definitely say these runs are definitely not the best. I kind of just did it until I got the time I needed. I didn't really go for PBs, which I know for like most of these levels I could probably do a lot better, but I just have no desire to do it because a lot of these just like barely getting through it just like took me forever to do. So I'm not really interested in going farther. Alright, move on to the next level. 1B. As you can see, I am 374th in the world. So you see some of these, I'm actually pretty high up there when you think about it. It's like in the entire world, I'm 374th place, which is kind of crazy to think about. Now I remember this specific level for a part near the end of it that took me forever to master, and this first level was really my first true test of this game, and it really is because of Cranky Kong, and you'll see why near the end. But yeah, just learning Cranky Kong and how to use them is just really going to be the toughest thing when going into this game. See those little grab panels? Those are pretty annoying. You have to do those constantly throughout different levels, and they kind of just slow down the pace. This is the part I'm talking about. That part, I could not do it for the life of me for some reason. It took me like hours and hours of attempts to get a run that I could even get past that part, let alone what comes after it. And here I was able to do it. Alright, next level. Alright, 1-4. I'm pretty certain that this is the minecart level I was talking about earlier. So here goes, 777th in the world. It's a pretty satisfying number, 777. It's a lot of symmetry with that number. Alright, so with these minecart levels, there's usually nothing you can really do to improve your time, but for some reason in this level, jumping a lot makes you go faster. I don't really know how it works, but yeah, I did this level without doing anything and like got a silver medal and not even like a regular gold one. So I was just like, how the heck can I even improve here? And it turns out just jumping does it. And the jumping trick does not come back in any future levels. So it's kind of just weird that it's featured here. I don't really know why that's the case, but with this level it just comes with a lot of memorization and just what points you're safe to jump at. But these minecart levels are really fun. I really enjoy them. And then coming up we got the rocket barrel, which you'll see later on. But yeah, you gotta be pretty precise with ducking and jumping here, which definitely makes these levels a bit tough and a bit annoying for these time trials, because if you die you get no checkpoints, so you have to just restart the entire level every time you die with one of these time trials, which could definitely get infuriating on a level like this where you just like know that there's nothing you could really do to improve and it's just like beating the level and you just make stupid mistakes. It gets pretty annoying. There we go. Pretty easy now that I'm at the end there. Nothing you can really do to screw it up. All you gotta do is just press the B button and you're good. Alright, next level is gonna be our first K level, I'm pretty sure. And if you don't know, to get these K levels you have to get all the Kong letters in all the regular levels. And that's not too tough, in all honesty. I'm 160th in the world with this one. But these levels are basically just meant to be tougher than just any regular level. And in the first game, if I remember correctly, you don't actually get any buddies with you when you do these levels, but some in this game you actually do get buddies with you, and that will go on to be very annoying. I don't think it's with this level, I think it's with the next World's K level. But these levels, oh no, it is this one. So as you'll see with these little platforms here, it has like really weird momentum based things with Dixie Kong that you'll have to perform, where you slide off and then just have to use that momentum from the rolls to affect with her little flutter, and that comes to be just entirely annoying, and I really did not enjoy doing this level. So here we go. Don't know how I got hit there, I was just being stupid, I guess. Yeah, after that point, this level gets very easy. You just kind of do it regularly. At this point, if you've saved enough time in the first bit of the level, you should be good just to like play the rest of it regularly. As you can see, boom, got it. Yeah, these levels aren't actually too bad when you don't have any buddies in them, because then there's not really any interesting or just difficult tech you need to perform. Alright, moving on to the last level of World 1, we got the boss. And, oh man, I hate the bosses in this game. It's 1,349th in the world, so obviously there's a lot of improvement I could do here, but I'm not interested specifically with the bosses because they just take way too long to complete, in my opinion. It's not fun to have to replay 2 whole minutes of a boss all over again if you fail, and that definitely came up a lot when I was doing these bosses. Specifically, the final boss is just really annoying to do. Yeah, with this, you just want to hit as fast as you can. Usually, Cranky Kong comes into great effect with these bosses because then it allows you to do certain things where you hit the boss at certain points when you're not really supposed to, because Cranky Kong can hit through like spiky platforms and stuff like that. So Cranky usually is who you're gonna want when going into these bosses. Yeah, here we go. Hit him again. So every single boss, I'm pretty sure you have to hit 9 times. And yeah, the bosses just go on for way too long. And if you miss hits, the bosses could take up to like 5 minutes. Like, it could theoretically take forever to beat some of these bosses. But obviously, you know, we're not taking that into account. But it's just, these bosses just go on for way too long. I'm sorry, I did not enjoy it. I even remember in the first game, the bosses were just like incredibly annoying to tackle. And you could do this game like probably way easier if you select to do the Funky Kong mode, because he has like every character's ability in one. But I thought that was like really cheesy. I did not want to do that, and I decided to just play this game as intended. But for the first of these new DKC games, Donkey Kong Country Returns, I did use modern mode to 100% that game. But I don't really feel bad about that because it doesn't feel like you're cheesing the game like it feels like when you have Funky Kong that has all the character abilities, 5 hearts. That feels really cheesy, whereas modern mode in Donkey Kong Country Returns, it just feels like it's more accessible to play. Alright, so final summary, all gold medals complete in World 1. So now moving on to World 2, and this world has hands down the hardest level in the entire game, at least for me. So this first level, I'm ranked 330 in the world. Let's see this. But yeah, I remember this world just being incredibly tough for me. I think I had a day where I played 11 hours straight of this game trying to complete this world, both like getting all the collectibles and trying to complete these time trials. So yeah, this is really when the game starts, you know, having some like interesting platforming that is pretty tough. Obviously it gets like more tough as the game goes on, but this is the first like true test of just like the regular game. Like I'd say World 1 is a little like, I don't want to say it's like completely easy, but it's definitely not to this caliber where, you know, even just regularly playing the levels, I was struggling a bit in World 2. But I definitely will say this game is probably more difficult to do than the first Donkey Kong Country in this new series, but I probably was just more used to the controls and physics and everything going into this game, which is why I was able to do it 10 hours faster than the first one. But yeah, once you get to this end part, it's just like spamming the B button to shoot through these barrels. And yeah, nothing too bad. Alright, this next level, man, I don't even want to think about this level, but I'm gonna have to relive my trauma. Let's go. 2-2. This level took me 5 hours straight of playing. The longest any level in this game took me, and I think I beat the time by literally 10 milliseconds. So 399th in the world, probably because no one else just even wants to endure what this level has to offer. So yeah, 5 hours straight of playing this level. It doesn't seem too bad as you're just watching, but there's one specific part near like the middle of the level that is just so tough and just so precise that I only got like a good run once every couple of hours, which is just crazy to think about. Now this level just was never consistent for me, and obviously you're supposed to use Rambi in it, and I just wish I could have used Rambi. That would have made this level a million times easier. And you see I'm like messing up here a lot. That's why I like barely came in to beat this level. 10 milliseconds literally. So here, this part, I remember doing this part so many times. You see coming up is where I struggled. These little boxes are gonna be the death of me. You see how you like fling off with all that momentum? That's what's really gonna get me. Right here, this second box. Ready? Watch this part. You just have to keep on going. Keep on going. You cannot let up here. So many precise hits. And this is the first time I ever like got that far doing that. So I was incredibly nervous right now. Trying to get through the rest of this level. I never really played it before, so I was just really scared that I was just gonna mess up after trying for 5 straight hours trying to do that. And that is not the best you can do there on that earlier part. And boom. I was incredibly nervous that whole time. You could even see me like slowing up a bit there, but that for me was the hardest level. Not even any of the levels in the later worlds got even close to the difficulty that level gave me. So now the next K level. I remember this one not being too bad. It's 187th in the world. This is one of the ones where there's no barrels in it, so that you can't bring in any friends, which you would think makes it harder, but it actually just makes it easier because there's no difficult kind of techniques you have to perform here. Yeah, this is actually one of the harder K levels in my opinion. Some of the later ones I don't think are too tough. But yeah, you gotta do a lot of like precise kind of movements in this level, which definitely makes it a bit tough. But because you don't have any animal buddies, it just makes it easier. Like weirdly makes it easier. You would think it makes it harder, but it doesn't. I remember the first ever time I got to the last bit of this level, which is coming up. It was the first time I ever got to that bit, and it was the last time I ever had to do that bit because I had like so much time to spare. So you see here I'm like kind of fumbling here because I've never done it before, but I'm actually able to still get the shiny gold medal because I saved so much time doing all that precise movement in the first like 3/4 of the level. Alright. See what's up next. One top hop. Just looking back on these levels, I'm just so glad I don't have to do them again. 312 in the world. Because yeah, every time I went to one of these levels, I was just extremely stressed out, scared, and just like, oh god, this level's probably gonna take me forever. But learning to overcome that and just like persevere through these levels, that's what I love about gaming, and that's why I love playing just like difficult games. So you guys are gonna see me as I go throughout this YouTube channel. I'm gonna definitely prefer to play more difficult games and like platformers that really challenge me, so that I could like overcome these obstacles and just I think it really teaches like endurance doing these things, and really makes you feel like you can do anything. So yeah, you know, video games are good for you guys. You should play them more often, not less. So if you're watching this video for like kind of a guide for these, I just highly recommend analyzing all the movement and everything I do here, and where you can improve, because there is a lot of where you can improve, specifically with my gameplay. I think I used a guy called like Nintendo Life or something. I used his guide to really help me achieve the impossible. Boom, there you go, I got it. Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm the best at this game, but I think you can learn a lot from my playthroughs of these levels. We go 2-4. I'm ranked 150 in the world. So let's see what I got here. I do probably think this is like one of the greatest 2D platformers ever created. I mean, there's not much, in my opinion, that comes close to like just the greatness of this game. Like, I feel every level of this game was just crafted to perfection, unlike any other game I played before. And I really do love these two DKC games that came out in recent years. And I definitely do want to go back and play the original Donkey Kong Country games. And I'll probably do that when I get the SNES Nintendo Switch Online controller, because I have been collecting the controllers, but if you know, the SNES one is always like sold out for some reason. I think that's because it's the most popular controller out of all those. But I did just order the N64 one, so I might like post a video of me going through Mario 64, because I love just like any opportunity to replay that game, and replaying it with the original controller, something I've never done before. So this is a minecart level, as you can see. So it's one of those levels you can't really improve, but like earlier in the level there's those moving platforms. When you're on those, you're gonna jump so that it doesn't like kill your momentum. Here we go, just going through this. Yeah, a lot of this is just like, you gotta just beat the level, which you know, isn't too bad. Every time I got to one of these worlds and started to do the shiny gold medals, I always started with the vehicle levels, because I knew those were the easiest and would take me the shortest amount of time. So that was really my thought process of tackling these levels. I kind of always tried to do easiest to hardest. Just felt that way that I was making more progress than I maybe actually was. Alright, next up, 2A. I'm ranked 214 in the world. So I actually just 200%ed this game today. I do like doing absolutely everything in the games I buy to try to get the most value out of them. And for this game, it's going through hard mode as well as doing these shiny gold medals, which a lot of people wouldn't consider like as needed for completion to do these shiny gold medals, or like get all the Kong letters and all the hard mode variants of the worlds, or collecting all the puzzle pieces. But I did all of it anyway, just like to have like a full completed save file where no matter what, I've done everything this game has had to offer, and that just feels more rewarding to me. But it's fine if you just do the surface level 200%, which all you need to do for that is beat every level, get all the Kong letters, and then beat hard mode. There's nothing wrong with that, of course, but I just like going that extra mile. So this level, I was really just messing up a lot, it looks like, but I was still able to do it. So as you can see, if you learn the right strats with these levels, you can kind of make a lot of mistakes, but because you have so much saved up time from the certain strats you've implemented, then these levels really aren't too bad at all. Alright. To be. Alright. Oh, so this level I actually for some reason my thing didn't save here. So we're just gonna watch the #1 player in the world do it and see what they did. I do have my time saved, but I guess I accidentally didn't upload this level. So we'll see what this guy does. Oh, this is just a rocket level, so you just play the level normally. That's all you gotta do, so not really important to show this. Just play the level normally and you should be good. All those rocket levels, all you really have to do is just worry about the start. But as you can see, I got 143 on this level, which I guess that's pretty good. I have no clue. Alright. I'm ranked 494th. So this level is the closest I ever came to losing one of these gold medals in terms of my winning runs. I literally beat this level by a single millisecond. And I'm not sure if you can beat levels by getting the time exactly. I've never done that. But yeah, this is the closest time I've gotten to the actual time needed, because you need 115 and I literally got 114.99. So I just remember when I was finishing this level, just I was so just nervous getting to the end, seeing how close it was. I think a real benefit of this game, doing these gold medals, even though it can be annoying, is that the levels are usually just really fun to blast through. So that's a big positive of this game, just having fun while doing these what could be very tedious tasks of replaying the level over and over again for a better time. It becomes really fun when the levels are actually really fun. So there you go, 14.99. Wow, came really close. Two 6 wing ding. I'm ranked 274th in the world on this level. So I'd probably say this world was the hardest world. It definitely had the biggest learning curve going into it. Just a lot of the strats and stuff I was still kind of unfamiliar with going into this world. And so it was just a huge learning curve. A lot of tough levels. This will probably be where you struggle the most, and then the rest of the game will kind of feel easy in comparison, if I'm being honest. The only worlds I struggled on after this was probably 5 and 6. Then World 4 is really easy, World 3 is kind of in that medium difficulty, and then World 7 is only 3 levels, so even if they were all very difficult, you're actually not spending that much time in that world at all. And by the way, they're not difficult, so you'll see when we get there. This level I remember being kind of easy because you don't really get Cranky Kong, as you can see, till halfway through it. So kind of just relied on, the base movement, and then also, of course, there's these vines you have to go through throughout the entire level, which once again makes the level very easy, as there's no kind of strats you can do while on these to go any faster. From this part, yep, you gotta maintain momentum there. That was the really only part I had to kind of learn, and then this final part, you have to learn a little bit how to tackle it. Yeah, what I recommend kind of doing for these games, I'll talk about it in the next level. By the way, I have no clue who that pig is. Like, someone comment the lore of Donkey Kong Country about who that pig is, because like I don't know who he is, why he has glasses, kind of confuses me. Alright, this boss I'm rank 381. This boss is interesting. So as I was saying, what I recommend to do for these 2 games is just like, as you play through wow, I really messed up there and still somehow got the medal. But as you're doing these attempts to get these shiny gold medals, just kind of watch along a guide and just kind of see the strats used, and then like slowly implement it yourself until you learn them and get to a new part of the level where you can then continue watching the video to see what the new strats are for the new parts of the level. So for this one, you really want to have Cranky Kong, as he really makes this boss fast, because him like jumping high, you can reach further. And then this part actually has a pretty interesting strat. So you're gonna want to hit this guy, pick him up, and then there's 3 possible projectiles here. So you want to just hit the I can't even process what happened there. You want to get the first guy, hit the second guy, leave him on the ground, hit the boss with the first guy, and then quickly hit the third guy, pick up the second guy who's, is pretty precise timing. He is about to, get up there, and then hit the boss again, and then take the third one and hit the boss for the last time. That part took a lot of learning, but once you like get that really fast kill in the first and second phase, that makes it so that this phase you're pretty good. There's like kind of a crazy strat you can do in this third phase to like go by really fast, where you hit the boss with like one of the projectiles and jump on him at the same time. I was never able to do that, so the time save you get doing the fast kill strats in the first 2 phases is really going to be important, because you might like be like me and not be able to implement the kind of glitch or exploit here. Right there, you could jump on him and throw the projectile at the same time and like kind of hit him twice, which again I was never able to do. Yeah, that's World 2 done. Again, probably what I'd say was the hardest world in the game. Alright, moving on to World 3. Yeah, this world I don't remember too much about in terms of like how much I struggled. I'm ranked 302 on this level. I don't remember struggling at all, to be honest. Most of these levels, I'd say on average a level took like 30 minutes to an hour. And yeah, a lot of these levels just fit into that camp where it did take a long time compared to like other video games. You might not take that long trying to attempt something, but in terms of this game, 30 minutes to an hour is like heaven. That's like, oh, you did pretty fast if you complete a level in that time. If I never knew these shiny gold medals existed, man, I would have had these games done so much faster. I remember in the first Donkey Kong Country Returns, I accidentally got a shiny gold medal, and I was like, why the heck does this look different than anything else? And I remember looking it up, and the amount of dread coursed through my body at that time was like crazy, where I was just like, wow, I'm really gonna have to go back to all the levels I already gold medaled, and those gold medals took me forever, and I'm gonna have to get even better times on them. I remember that was the first time where I was like, wow, I need to lock in, man. Yeah, doing these two Donkey Kong Country games definitely taught me a lot of discipline that I hope to implement into any of the future video games I play. Here we go, another Cranky Kong level, but we didn't have to use them too extensively here. There we go. Alright. Boab Bonanza. Ironic name, man. I'm rank 197, wow. It's pretty high if you ask me. So, played DK Bonanza, and that's probably my personal game of the year. If you don't know, I am playing all these Switch games on Switch 2. So, this game is a Switch game. I'm pretty sure it came out like maybe the second year of the Switch. I haven't got it until the end of 2025, which is why I'm now just posting this video. It took me like 2 weeks to fully 200% this game. I say that 2 weeks is actually pretty good, because I remember Donkey Kong Country Returns taking me like 3 or maybe even 4 weeks. Yeah, a lot of Cranky Kong usage in this level, having to bounce on those spiky objects. And then the end, there's nothing really you can do much here, because it's like an automated segment. So I am kind of like going fast here, but there's not really any point to doing that. And there we go. Quick level, easy level. Alright, 3-3. I'm rank 277 for this level. Let's see, if I remember correctly, this was a Cranky Kong level, and it was also a Rambi level, so this one scared me because the Rambi level from World 2 had so many issues. As I already said, it was the hardest level I've ever done in this game. But this level you actually get to use Rambi, which makes it considerably easier. But with Rambi, there's a lot of memorization of like when you can just keep on charging without having to jump, because you might be able to tell his jump just kills momentum a lot of the time. But yeah, once again, you need Cranky Kong. He's only gonna help in a few sections though. Like right there. Yeah, getting to do a Rambi level, actually using Rambi is really refreshing, especially after that extremely tough World 2 level. We are. But yeah, just look at these levels, man. Just made with so much care. You can just tell they like really cared about this game and like making it beautiful and as pretty as it is. There we go. The love and care put into this game just like has shot it to the top of my list of 2D platformers. Alright, 3-4. I'm ranked 491. And this is actually one of the few levels we use Diddy. Again, we don't use them often in this game. Use them a lot in World 4 because you'll see his underwater ability is very useful. Ah yes, I remember this level being kind of a pain because there's a lot of like damage boost type things you have to do in this level, and it just gets like really annoying. Type of levels like these is where like modern mode in the original game really came into clutch, where like that 1 to 2 extra hearts you get just really help damage boosting segments where you didn't really have to worry about kind of maintaining a certain health. You see here, I'm pretty sure you're supposed to keep Diddy for the entirety of the level, but I lost him pretty close to the end. I was able to recover. So that's another thing with this game, is that a lot of the times don't just give up on it if something goes wrong in the run. As you can see, I've had many runs where stuff has gone wrong, even though I've done it many times before where I've done it correctly. And you can't just give up there. 240 in the world for this level, but yeah, you just can't give up once you accidentally make a mistake or something, because you never know, the level can be recoverable. And I just recommend trying to like fully play out each attempt, and unless something goes like horribly wrong, then I'll say you're fine just like hitting the reset, because you can just pause the game and immediately reset, which is something I did a lot, especially when I was frustrated. And I'm glad I did not record my attempts, like doing the actual, attempting the actual, you know, trying to get these, because I said some very harsh things towards this game, and I was taking my full anger out. This level was not too bad. Again, like once you like memorize stuff, the levels look tough, but because you memorize it, everything just like falls into place, and so the level becomes just really easy to just perform. There you go. That part I wasn't really consistent on. A lot of like barrel parts where you have to shoot weirdly to do certain things, I was never really the best at doing. There, I almost died. But boom, I did it. Was able to do it, as always. But as you can see with a lot of these times, it's usually like a whole like 15 to 30 seconds off like the regular gold medal time, which is kind of crazy to think about how much time you usually need to save for these shinies. 599 in the world. Let's see what this level is like. Twilight Terror. Yeah, I would hate to see what these load times are like on Switch 1. They can't be too bad, right? I don't know. But this is Switch 2, so the load times are supposed to be faster. Now I remember this level being annoying because you have to go through a whole 2-minute, you know, jet barrel section, and then at the very, very end, you get hit with this one part, and you'll see, and it's just super annoying to do, and if you mess up, you have to restart the entire level. You'll see what I'm talking about at the end of this level, but yeah, there's not really much to talk about with these vehicle levels because, again, there's nothing you can improve except the very start and maybe sometimes the very end, like with this level. But yeah, this time is just like extremely tight. You gotta really be like as precise as possible with the beginning and the end to get this shiny gold medal. But even again, having to be precise in a level like this is way easier than having to be precise in like the entirety of a level. Because this one you just get a 2-minute lull in between the kind of difficult parts. But yeah, something I really enjoy about this game is just how every piece of the environment works together to craft the level design. Like, everything has a reason for being where it is. Everything, you know, every obstacle has a reason for doing what it does. It's just like extremely well designed and just like artistically and gameplay wise. So here's the hard part. You have to fall and hit the barrel directly, and you cannot hit the wall or else you lose. You just lose if you hit the wall. So that, which is like extremely annoying to perform. I remember getting to the end of that level multiple times, having to do that whole 2-minute level over and over again just to mess up at the very end. Alright, let's see this one. Another cranky level. Rank 2 or 3 in the world. So a great thing about these time trials is the fact that you can select who you want going into it. That just makes things like a bajillion times easier. And it's really nice that you can do that, because if you had to do it just regularly and the timing didn't match up for the certain character you needed, that could make these levels like oh my god, almost unplayable. This one is really easy because it is just like almost a full barrel level. Barrel is like the whole focus of it, so there's not really any really tough parts. It's just spam B or, you know, time properly. Which again, near the end here, I didn't really have to time it all that well because of the fact I could damage boost through a few things. Alright, let's see this boss. I remember this boss being very annoying, especially in hard mode. Having to do it with only 1 health. 318 in the world for this one. But yeah, only having to do it with 1 health in hard mode was just so draining. It took me like an hour. I really don't like it. This is probably my least favorite boss in the game, if I'm being honest. I like the final boss more than this one, even though the final boss is... I don't even want to talk about that one either. This level extremely beneficial to have Cranky Kong, because he can just pummel these guys way quicker than usual. Because usually you have to wait till they're flipped upside down to hit them, but with Cranky Kong, like right here when they have the hammer, you can just hit them. And then you just want to hit them all, and eventually one of them will die, and then you'll move on to the next phase. And you just repeat this for the different phases. Here you can jump on them while they're standing here, which the intended way to hit them here is with these bombs. Obviously, you know, we don't do that. Get them here. There we go, we got 1 left. This is the part in hard mode I always died on, but I think like the first time I got to this part is when I beat it here. So this is my first time going through this part for this time trial. I was obviously able to beat it. And as you can see, I'm like not going in the right places. I'm kind of fumbling, trying to pick up the bombs. And I remember being extremely nervous here because I know you have 1 opportunity to hit the boss here. And if you don't, that's a restart. And I was able to do it. And at this point I was like, alright, all I need is to just do well on this last part here. And I've done it. Yeah, I will probably say this is the most difficult boss in the game in my opinion. And then I messed up there and got really nervous, but I was able to squeeze this one. Even got a few punches in there, which the other bosses I wasn't able to. Alright, now time for the A and B levels. I actually like the introduction of the A and B levels in this game. Through like the secret exits. That's definitely more of like a Mario type thing, but I like seeing it here. Alright, 278 in the world for this one. So yeah, how's everyone's day going? Let me know. Let me know. Let's see this one. Ah yes, I remember this level being quite the annoyance. A lot of the A and B levels are designed to be more difficult than the regular ones. But not as difficult as the K levels. So it kind of comes in these like middle grounds, but because the K levels sometimes don't have the barrels, that makes it so these levels usually do come in to be a bit harder than those. And definitely a lot more annoying with like the multiple kind of concepts in them, whereas the K levels usually finds one concept and it sticks with it. And there I was like fumbling a lot. I'm glad you could skip a lot of this level, because having to use these like little water balloon things or water berries, whatever the heck they are, that was that wouldn't have been fun if we had to like stop constantly and like precisely aim and throw kind of projectiles. That wouldn't have been fun. Yeah, Cranky Kong just does let you do a lot of crazy stuff with these levels. That makes them pain and also really fun. Alright, last level here, 205th in the world. And this level is actually really annoying. Having to learn the specific parts of like where to jump and where to use Cranky was just entirely annoying. As you can see, like the level unfolds in front of you, so it's kind of hard to like get visual cues on what you're supposed to do at what times. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I went through this level as like slow as possible to get the shiny gold medal time, because I remember watching the guide for this one. I was like, how the heck do they even get to do this? I definitely do think this level, and actually a common theme through a lot of these, is that they start off difficult, start off having to do a lot of insanely precise and difficult strats, and then they actually end easier, which I am definitely more appreciative of. Not having to, you know, absolutely struggle through the whole level or having to do the most difficult parts at the end of it. But yeah, that was World 3, again, like kind of average difficulty, and then World 4 here, I would probably say this is the easiest world in the game. And that is because, as you'll see, every single level is like a water level. So I'm 146 in the world now. I wonder if there's any I got under 100. I think there is like 2 maybe, if I remember correctly. But yeah, for most of these underwater levels, you're going to want to use Diddy Kong, as his ability underwater is extremely beneficial, as you'll see coming up. But yeah, when you don't have any Kongs with you, you just want to constantly spin, and I messed up there, hit that guy. So yeah, hold down B with Diddy and you'll get this like burst of speed. Now, Dixie Kong, you kind of get a more consistent kind of thing where she constantly is going at the same pace, which definitely helps in like regular gameplay, because it's not like a burst that like can throw you off. But when it comes to like doing this, the time trials is what I mean. You want to use Diddy because his burst of speed is faster than Dixie's like constant stream of fastness. And then this level, for some reason, I like spinned after every time I use Diddy's ability, which I don't think that's faster. I think I was just doing it because I thought it was faster, but I quickly learned that you don't want to do that because it actually can kill your momentum of like the speed boost. And I had to learn that the hard way with like some of the other levels where I just like was like a second off. I was like, what can I improve? And it was like not doing the spin is what I could improve. So yeah, I could have probably got a better time in this level if I knew that beforehand. But another thing with these underwater levels is that there's a lot of damage boosting, but there's also a lot of barrels and opportunities to get more health back, um, which is definitely great for this. And then boom, got it done. So you'll see a lot of these water levels is like you have to improve by like 30 seconds. This is probably like the world with the biggest gap in between shiny gold medals and regular gold medals. But with that, these levels are also like extremely long, which just kind of sucks. Alright, let's see. 1A. I'm 134 in the world. So a lot of these I'm like high up because the guide I watched just showed how to go about these levels extremely fast, compared to like probably what Nintendo or the developers intended you to do. And this is actually one of the only actual platforming levels in this world, so it's not really a good example of that, but you still have to do some swimming here, so you know. Yeah, I remember this one not being too bad either, just like as a regular platforming level, which is why I do say that World 4 is the easiest world to fully shiny gold medal in this game, because there's just, I think there's like one level that I even struggled on a little bit, and I remember the K level also not being too bad. But yeah, there's that cool tech you can do with your buddies where you can infinitely roll, and then doing it on water, you can just like bounce on the water, which is cool. Boom, got this one. That slight glimmer on all these gold medals is why I went for all these, which, hey man, probably not worth it. So this 4B is probably the most like interestingly structured level in the entire game. And it makes, oh wait, I'm ranked 69 in this level, that's crazy. So that's really up there. This level I did really well on. But yeah, this level has a very interesting structure where you're kind of looping through just like the same couple rooms, and you get these keys to open different chests, and those chests give you different keys to open more chests until you get to the end of the level. And that made this actually like pretty fun to speedrun, like trying to find the best strat to like go through this level as fast as you can. So I'd say this is definitely one of the more entertaining levels to speedrun in this world specifically, or actually in the entire game, I would say. And yeah, once again, you're going to want to use Diddy because his burst speeds are just, they're specifically extremely useful in this level because it is such a big open level with a lot of like traveling in between these like open spaces of rooms. So he comes into clutch a lot here. This part is kind of annoying and could be easily messed up. You have to collect all those bananas there to open that specific door. Don't know why they did that, but it really was annoying sometimes when I like messed up and then had to wait or collect the bananas in like a slow manner. Also, another thing that could get you in this level is running out of air. So you're just gonna always want to make sure that you have full or like a sufficient amount of air so that you don't die, because you pretty much just, you don't instantly die, but every like couple seconds you lose a heart, and there's not really any way to like come back from that, if I'm being honest. So here you're just gonna want to sit there. And the main level, I remember that shark just being super annoying, especially on hard mode. He was just not fun to deal with at all. And here you're gonna want to burst through, and then the barrel's right there. Send. Still don't know who that pig is. Alright. Over to High Tide Ride. I am 2,280th in the world, and I think that is because this might be a vehicle level. And I think with this one that jumping tech comes into play here. So there is like kind of improvements you can do by jumping in this level, and that makes you go faster. But I kind of just did this level off a whim and was able to do it by just beating the level regularly, which is why I am so low, but I do still have the shiny gold medal for this level. But yeah, if you want to definitely guarantee it, I would recommend looking up another guide of like how to jump properly to save time here. This is actually one of the best like minecart levels in the game because of the like very interesting perspective shift that you don't really see. You kind of see it in some of the barrel rocket levels, but this is like unique to this level, which is also kind of sad that you like don't see it again throughout the rest of the game. But hey man, you can tell these people just had too many ideas that sometimes some of them can only be used a singular time before having to say, yeah, it's not happening anymore. Yeah, just like seeing this, it's just like very unique and just like flowing gameplay that it looks fun, but then playing it is also just really fun, but also challenging, and it challenges you. And that's why I think that this game has like some of the best design of all time. Definitely best level design. Here we go, we're coming up to the end here. Barely got that one. I think the time was 2:10. Barely got it. That is because I did not know about the jumping trick that you can do on this specific level. Alright, moving on. Rank 259 in the world for this one. Abyss. This is another just straightforward underwater level. So once again, Diddy, and just precise, good gameplay. Remember the back half of this level specifically being pretty annoying to complete. Those like little coral reef things, an enemy, whatever they're called, extremely annoying to get past, because you gotta like squeeze right through them. And then having to like do a bunch of precise squeezing through like very small gaps while having these sudden speed bursts definitely not fun. Definitely took some time to get used to. That's why I say this is probably the hardest underwater level, but even at that, it still really wasn't that tough compared to the other stuff you have to do for this game. As you can see, I messed up there, no more Diddy, but I'm still able to complete the level. So here I was just like extremely nervous how to make it through because I had no Diddy and I was on one heart. So see how I clutch this up. Yep. I was extremely just like heart-poundingly nervous getting to that end. And that is really the case for like almost every single one of these levels. By the end of the levels, when like you're like, oh wait, this is actually gonna be the run, that's when you start getting really nervous and your heartbeat starts accelerating. Alright, for this one I am 223 in the world. And this is another one where you don't have to bring in any buddies to the K level, which just makes it easier. Oh yes, I remember this K level. I remember it being really fun, just like the platforming, having to get on these platforms before they disappear. Just something about it was just really fun to execute. And this part here is really annoying. And then this part here is really fun. Having to like immediately jump after you land after each one, just like incredibly satisfying. This is probably one of my favorite levels in the game, to be honest, because just like the flow of it, it just works really well. It's one of the best, in my opinion, one of the best designed. Another fun bit here. You see here, I was like a bit nervous, like my character's shaking a little bit. And boom. Alright. Irate 8. So this one is all about a squid monster. I'm ranked 201 in the world. And this squid monster really was just annoying to deal with in main story, hard mode, and this, because you'll just see his attacks just like generally come out of nowhere. And then again, this is like one of the hardest regular levels because usually the bosses take the mantle of being up to 3 minutes, but this one, its gold medal is 245, so it's just an extremely long, monotonous level. That part right there was really annoying. Having to squeeze through, I was not able to do it. But you are able to squeeze through those sharply finned individuals. This level I remember specifically having a ton of barrels, so like using Diddy in it was no problem. And I also remember the time actually being quite lenient for both this and like a future level as well. So again, that all goes to just show how easy World 4 actually is. Just up there. That part was annoying until I kind of squeezed through, but again, I think at the very end here, yep, we'll get one last barrel, so it don't even matter. And this part has a lot of that randomness where like his fin just shows up, or tentacle shows up randomly, and you just have to have the fastest reaction time known to man. As you can see, I'm actually running it quite low on oxygen. So like, as I started getting here, I was like very nervous. Look, I'm about to run out. I did run out. How did I survive this? Oh, I just like gained a bunch back. I don't know how and why. And this part's pretty easy. You just gotta shoot all the little chains and you've won. You can see I saved 20 seconds. It's not too bad, not too bad. I'm 143 in the world for this level. That's actually, again, pretty high. I remember this level being the one other, like, what's it called? Unique level in this world, because there's no kind of swimming in this one. Whereas the other platformer one actually did have swimming. This one actually has 0. And it's just kind of themed around the beach. That's really it. This level's like really fun to speed through, but it's also, it was really difficult to actually complete. I was telling you guys earlier, this was the most difficult level in this world. Only because it wasn't an underwater one. Yeah, a lot of these levels are just, they're really fun to just, you know, speed around doing all these crazy strats that like, you just like achieve the wildest things and you're like, wait, how the heck is that even possible? How the heck did I even do that? Here we go. Got hit by that guy, but it was fine. And then boom. Done. But yeah, extremely fun speedrun level there. Although it is another cranky one, and you know how I feel about Cranky Kong. Alright, 4-6, the last underwater level of the whole game. So I'm rank 151 in the world. I remember this one being extremely easy because I made a ton of mistakes here and still somehow ended up like well below what you needed. So it goes to show that these shiny gold medals aren't as intimidating as they might seem at first. Sometimes you just gotta try it, and you never know. You could get a level 2-2, or you could get a level 4-6. But I probably think that they don't intend you to damage boost, maybe, and that's why sometimes levels with damage boost strats have some of the craziest margins of just time in between what the actual time is and what you are feasibly able to get. And this does seem like one of those levels. Once you get Diddy, it is all for the races here. You do just some insane strats coming up. Damage boosting, as you can see. See that just like saves so much time. Probably doesn't look like it, but it really did. And then this part is generally pretty annoying to do because it's just really slow in the middle of this level. And that's my biggest problem when like a very fast game has like these slow down parts. That's why I don't like the first Sonic the Hedgehog game. Just like too many moments where you slow down when the whole literal slogan of Sonic is you gotta go fast. This part you speed through. Yep. Again, just a ton of mistakes. I was not doing anything kind of correct here. Again, got hit again. I was I was really struggling, man. And again, saved a ton of time in this level, so I was able to get the shiny with a lot of time to spare. Alright, moving on to the final one of World 4, which is of course the boss. And this is actually the easiest boss in the entire game. You can actually beat this guy in like 40 seconds. I was not good enough to do that. I was 393rd in the world. But yeah, the time on this one is like 2:15. I beat him in 1:20. He is actually just like a cakewalk. So you see the regular time is 2:23. I think the shiny was like only 2:15 or like something. That's like really close. And then just look how much you can cheese this. You go right behind them and just hit them. And just keep on doing that. And just do it. And for some reason they just didn't know, I guess, you can do that. Which, like, I don't know why they wouldn't know that. But you just keep on going behind them like this. And then boom, you hit him again. And it's just extremely cheesy, but it makes it go by really fast and really easily, so that's what I did here. See, by this point, people would have been like already way finished with this. Obviously, I'm not that good. I was still able to make crazy time though. See, I'm just like completely messing up what you're supposed to actually do here. Somehow, I'm still able to beat this guy, get the shiny gold medal with more than enough time to spare. Like, it's actually insane how much time you have to spare on this one. But yeah, just absolutely just easy cakewalk of a boss. Alright, moving on to World 5. Let's go in, 5-1. So I am ranked 304 in the world for this one. World 5, I don't remember being too difficult, at least in comparison to like World 2. I don't think I struggled on this one that much, but it's still, all these levels are just tough in general. You can see in this one I'm not doing the best, but in a lot of these times they feel pretty lenient, in all honesty. Yeah, this one's a bit annoying because it's another Cranky Kong level, but made do. This part was annoying right there. To kind of maintain momentum, then do this jump, which was annoying. This part you gotta go straight through. Then we spam a little bit. When you lose a buddy when you're not really supposed to, you really just want to optimize your rolling and your bounces off enemies throughout the level. And yeah, a lot of the time it's recoverable as that level and many others before and after are going to show. Alright, here we go, we got another vehicle level. I am ranked 996 for this one. which again, vehicle levels, you can't do much, so I'm seeing a lot of higher ranks on these ones because it's hard to do better on them, I guess. This is actually probably one of the better vehicle levels in my opinion, with all like the perspective changes you're gonna see. It's really cool. Again, just shows this game's like knack for just very interesting and complex design that you don't see much in other 2D or even 3D platformers. Yeah, here we go. Not too bad. Again, with these levels, you just gotta memorize everything so that you don't need to use any checkpoints, and you're good. These levels are generally pretty difficult on hard mode though, because you do only have one heart even when you're on a vehicle, which can make you know, when you get near the end and accidentally die by something, just like very frustrating. Pretty sure everything you collect in these levels, like the bananas or the gold coins and all that that you collect, don't actually count towards anything, which actually would have liked if it would, because there are like these little figurines you could buy with the gold coins, and it's a bit annoying to grind those coins out to get more figures when probably would have had a lot more if you could collect the little gold coins while doing the time trials. And this part's real cool. Yeah, not much to talk here. It's the end of the level. Once you get to the end, you just gotta lock in and make sure you don't make any mistakes trying to get the barrel. There you go. Alright, moving on. 5-3. I'm ranked 183rd for this one. Let's see what we got here. A lot of these levels I don't remember by name, but like right when I see like the first opening part of it, I immediately get transported to when I played it. And yeah, this level is no different. I think this was probably the toughest one in this world. Took me a bit of time to perfect. There's just a lot of annoying bits here that you have to combat. Like right there, that part was always very annoying. And then these platforms that like come up out the ground like that, that is just like really tough to deal with, specifically later on in the level when you have to start doing some crazy stuff with those platforms. And then also at the very end of the level, there's a very automated scripted segment involving those platforms that is just like annoying to go through at like the tail end of the level. You just gotta do it every single time, so it gets a bit annoying. Again, we lose our buddy here and even mess up right there. So again, these times are, you know, pretty lenient. And then right here, you're supposed to go up with the buddy, but I don't have her, so I have to get the barrel. And then this part, I died on a lot of times, and you'll see why you have to do this. Which is just like, you just gotta hope you land properly on that platform by rolling, and then you have to do like a very long jump. That could be deadly. And this part, having to replay it a bunch of times is just super annoying. As you can see, I was just like very well versed in like where you specifically had to go. And and then boom, I got it. I think it was 145 was the time, so a lot of these, I'm just cutting it like really, really close. Alright, moving on, 5A. I'm ranked 214th for this one. And this is another Cranky Kong level. This is the B-high level, which I remember a lot because there's a lot of interesting tech you need to do here with Cranky Kong that was very difficult, very annoying, very time consuming. So right here, this part always got me having a platform like that. It doesn't look that precise, but it felt precise while doing it. Yeah, just having to use these like climbing circle platform thingies it was very annoying because there's not really a fast way you can go about doing these or overcoming these platforms. This part I died on a lot because you have to like jump right there. I was never able to be consistent with that. And then this part is difficult. You have to jump. So you gotta go straight through using your momentum and Cranky Kong's ability to not get hit by those spikes. And then you have to do it again here, and the timing on this one is even more difficult. But I was able to do it here. So at this point I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be the run. So I was just very locked in, but also nervous. Got hit there. I'm pretty sure I barely got this one too. As you can see, I'm not really on a good cycle. But at this point, I'm good. Because this part of the level is very automated, so there's nothing much you can do. But there you go, I got it. Alright. Moving on to 5-4 Panicky Paddles. Alright. This is a Diddy Kong level. 177th in the world. So this is one of them rare Diddy Kong levels, which again, you unfortunately don't see him much in this game, whereas in the first game he's your only buddy you got, so you really use him like every single level. Ah yes, I remember this level. This was specifically a pain during the hard mode playthrough of this game, because like this level is just really long and just has a lot of annoying segments, as you'll see throughout. Specifically the swimming segment. So yeah, you use Diddy here because this is really focused more on swimming, so he really helps during those bits. But a lot of times how this game works, there's not a specific cycle the level goes on through, like when you first start. It really works like when you get to a certain segment, it loads in and the cycle starts from there. So every kind of cycle is consistent, but you do have to be going in at a certain like speed and pace to still like make it, but it is like more consistent because you always start at the same points with each cycle when you load into that certain segment of the level. So you could come, for example, you could come into this part at any time. The timer could be at any time, but the cycle will still be consistent to once you start that area. So this part, very annoying if you mess up. And this is right at the end, so barrel part, that's not very difficult. And then you just gotta remember you gotta slam on the ground there. That's it. Alright. 5B Jam and Jams, alright. Let's see what this level has to offer. I'm ranked 190 in the world for this one. So if I remember correctly, this is like a bouncing level. You have to bounce on a bunch of jelly things, I guess. I don't know what they're supposed to be, but it looks like a bunch of jelly. Or no, that's not this level. Maybe I already covered it, or maybe it's a future level, I don't know. I get a lot of stuff confused. This level, I don't really remember that much about this level because I think it was pretty easy. If I remember correctly, there is a lot of barrel segments in this level. And again, with the barrel, that's pretty consistent of just like you either spam or you just have to wait and then spam. Like, it's not really much to think about. So yeah, here you just gotta press B immediately and just go. And in this part you jump down and hope you don't get hit. Yep, I remember that. And this part's pretty easy. Nothing really much you can do there. And another barrel part where I just spam through. And then this is the last real platforming section. You hit this, you get the final barrel part, which you're really gonna want to like skip through like that, and then use the barrel there, and boom. I'm pretty sure it's 115, so I barely got that. Alright, let's continue. Alright, moving on to 5-5 Jelly Jamboree. This is the jelly level I was talking about. I am ranked 92 in the world. Wow, that's pretty high up there. What you gotta remember for this one is, right when you're on the platform, you just have to hold B to get a high jump. Those blue ones like switch to platforms. There's not really much you can do here. Just use Diddy to do like skip a few platforms, jump off a few enemies. And then boom, there we go. Easy level. Alright, moving on to this world's K level. I'm ranked 369th in the world. I don't remember this one that much. Or wait. Oh yeah, I do. These platforms just like you could go on them only at like specific times, and then these ones fall. That's really the whole gimmick of this level. And no partner you could bring in, so it makes this one easier. bouncing off enemies at certain parts here to go faster. And then these parts, there's not much you can do, you just gotta wait. This part's really annoying because, once again, there's nothing you can do here. So this is just like pure platforming, hoping you've saved enough time by this point. Right at the end, it's the last jump, or no, one more. This is the last jump, yep. That one, there's not a lot of time you can save, so you gotta really be fast with that one. Alright, moving on. Got 5-6. I'm ranked 225th in the world. And this is another Cranky Kong level. I think I remember this one for being kind of annoying. Yep. This just has a lot of that same Cranky Kong BS that you see in a lot of his levels. And that first jump right there, we have to bounce off the enemy, was not very consistent. Yeah, most of this level, I think you can go a lot faster and reach different cycles, but I was just not that good at it. So there's a lot of times where I'm ducking when like in other guides you might watch, they're not ducking at those certain points and going fast enough where they don't need to. Yeah, right here, use Cranky's ability. For all his faults, his ability is very useful when doing these time trials. As you can see, you could like fling yourself with a ton of momentum. This part was always really annoying. And then here we are at the end. And I got it. Not too bad. But it is bad when you're actually doing it. A lot of these levels you look at and you might think, oh, that's easy, but it's a minute long of having to play like basically perfectly. And here we go. This is the worst. This is the worst time attack in this entire game, in my opinion. I'm ranked 63rd in the world. But the reason why this one is so bad is because literally the time for it is 3 minutes long. So no matter what you do, it's gonna take you 3 minutes. If you're going for, you know, regular gold, it's gonna take you 3 minutes. Shiny gold, it's gonna take you 3 minutes. It's just way too long to be fun and entertaining. So yeah, you have strats here where you kind of damage boost to go quicker. But even at that phase 2, there's nothing you can do to go faster. So that phase just eats up so much time. And makes it so this boss requires you to play for 3 minutes straight each attempt. So this one ended up taking me quite a bit of time to achieve, which it wasn't fun at all, if I'm being honest. See, I kind of messed up there and got hit when I wasn't supposed to, so now I'm kind of playing for survival here, because it is important to keep Dixie Kong. Because she allows you to take more damage boosts and dodge attacks like these a lot better. But bosses do usually give hearts when you're down 1. So yeah, this part, second phase right here, nothing you can do, literally nothing you can do. You just have to play along. And then here he goes again. but now he does it 2 times, and then the 3rd time you hit him, he's going to do it 3 times. So this boss is really just designed to waste as much time as possible. And this is the longest time attack in the entire game. And I'm pretty sure that also includes the first game. I don't remember any levels taking over 3 minutes. So yeah, I'll probably say there's more difficult levels, there's harder levels, harder bosses, more difficult bosses, just like ones that took me longer times, but this one I just don't like at all just because of like the design of the boss. It does not fit the time attack mode very well. Whereas with the other bosses there are like fun, cool strats you can do to speed through them. This one there's absolutely nothing you can do and you just gotta play fast, which again you can't really do. You still have to sit through all the phases doing all the BS that this boss requires. In the third phase, you gotta break the ice blocks with the bombs in them to throw them quickly. And the second time he does it during this phase, I always messed up, so that's where this boss really got me. Having to play for 3 minutes straight just to mess up the very end was not fun at all. At this point, my palms are sweaty. I'm getting nervous. I know that this could possibly be it, but I know that if I miss the bomb, I'm not gonna get it. Fine, throw it quickly like that. That's what you need to do. And that is tougher than it might look. But yeah, just very annoying, not very fun. So let's move on to the second to last world in the game. World 6. This is the longest world, coming in at a total of 12 levels. Which is crazy, man. A lot of levels for one world. But here we go, DK Island. Because a lot of these, because there's a lot of levels, a lot of these levels are short. I'm ranked 377. So you'll see most of these coming in at around the 1 minute mark or even under sometimes. Because there's so many levels in this world that they are usually a lot shorter than like the regular levels in the other worlds. But yeah, this world definitely has the most difficult levels in the main game. Obviously we're excluding World 7 because that's like some extra stuff. But yeah, this world has some very just like annoying, difficult, challenging levels, and this is one of them. Got a lot of segments here where you have to use Cranky Kong's ability, which again, I'm not a big fan of him, so did struggle a bit at some points, but we made it do. Here we go. We're coming up to a really big skip. Right here, we're gonna skip like the whole end of the level. Just like that, barely made it. But yeah, if you perform that skip on good pace, then you're guaranteed to get the shiny gold medal. So again, that one, not too bad. A lot of these levels, because they're so short, aren't too bad to get the shinies on. Let's see, this one I am ranked 251st in the world. So this one involves a lot of like grabbing platforms, as you'll see soon. Like right there. As you can see, the time is 1:41, but I beat this one in 1:10. Because of so much stuff you can like do to skip certain parts, like this with Dixie Kong. This part too, you usually have to grab the platform to like bring it up a bit. I think we only grab a platform at like the very start of this level because you like want to avoid it for the rest of it, because it wastes too much time. Right there too, that was another bit. And then right here, you skip the whole entire platforming section right there. Which you could do that a lot faster, but I was really taking my time there because I did not want to die. Then this end part is really easy. So yeah, that level is pretty easy to get the shiny gold medal on. Alright, moving on to 6-3. Another Cranky Kong level, and I'm ranked 324th in the world for this one. But I remember this level, I think, yep. This one involves a lot of like falling platforms and stuff like that. Very cool level. But it wasn't too difficult, except like one part near the end where you have to like start doing like some platforming that you're not actually supposed to do, and the camera's scrolling up before you even see yourself. It's like that kind of stuff. So yeah, the end of this level is tough, but the beginning of it is pretty easy. There's not much you can really do to like save a lot of time. Don't do that, what I just did right there, where I just like start beating on the ground for no reason. That part's very annoying because the barrel like turns you around, so then you gotta turn yourself back around, and that's like a momentum breaker there, so that's really annoying, but there's nothing you could really do to combat that. This part right here, it's kind of tough. Can't really see what's coming up, but I was able to do it there, and then this is the end of the level. So again, very, very, very short levels here. Alright, let's move on. So, we're already speeding through this world because again, pretty short levels, man. 6-4. This is the only vehicle level that this world has. I am ranked 276. So probably near the end of this game I am gonna get like higher ranks than usual because of the fact that like probably not everybody has gotten to this point, maybe gave up earlier on. Which I don't blame them, to be honest, because man, this game gets really tough at certain points. There's definitely a lot of times I was like, man, I just want to quit. But yeah, this one is a vehicle level. You get this part right here with the rocket barrel, and then at the end you get kind of a minecart segment. They like show it as a minecart icon, but you're really just like a giant snowball. And yeah, there's in both these sections there's not really anything you can do to go faster. So this is the easiest level of World 6. It's the one I started off with, and yeah, it's just pretty easy. Always the shiny gold medal times for these, it's like 230 for the regular and then like 229 for the shiny. So it's just like always you gotta save like an extra second just by being a bit better at the start or at the very end. And here we go. This level might be a bit more tough than the other vehicle levels just because it is just a tougher level. And it's also a very long level too. As you can see, it takes up to 2.5 minutes to do. But it's a fun level, so I never mind replaying it if I died. And just all the parts of this level, just like, it's just such good design, just everything working together. It's really cool level design that like flows together perfectly. And here we go into this barrel, and then we begin the minecart segment, aka just a big giant snowball. There's nothing really can do here, but I did jump kind of a bit here. I don't know if that saves time or not, like the other minecart levels. Boom, crash into there and you're done. So yeah, I actually had a good amount of time to spare there. Like 70 milliseconds, which doesn't seem like a lot, but for these vehicle levels, it really does usually come really close. Alright, moving on, 6-5. I am ranked 214 in the world for this one. I think I remember this one. This one involves a bunch of bouncy platforms where you have to hit them to bounce. Like you have to slap the ground. Yep. This one was really tough. I'd probably say this was the level I struggled on most with in World 2, World 6, other than the boss fight. The boss fight was like the hardest thing in this world. But we'll see that when we get there. But this level was just like really tough to like be fast enough to reach certain cycles. Because again, the cycles do like work on like a basis where you get to a certain point and the cycle is always consistent, but I was always never like going into those segments with the right like pace and the right speed to reach those certain cycles. So yeah, I just generally struggled a lot with this level here. This part I spam right through. And then this last bit is actually pretty easy to do without anybody, so I wasn't too saddened when I lost Dixie Kong there. This part is really fun to do without anybody's actually. Having to make all these jumps and everything. Then we get her back. And I almost died there. It's near the end. You'll see a lot, or you have seen a lot near the end of these levels. I start doing actually terribly. Because it will usually be like one of the first times I make it there, because I always like die on the first bit of the level more than I do at the end, because I start taking it slow, trying to make sure that I actually beat the level instead of trying to like go as fast as possible. Alright, moving on to the K level. This K level is just extremely annoying. 139 in the world with Dixie Kong. Yeah, this is probably my least favorite one. I think the challenge is just like, I don't know, it feels like too much is being thrown at you, and these platforms are just like moving, and you have to look out for the enemies, and it goes up and down, side to side, and there's different obstacles. It's just like too much at a certain point, and it becomes not fun when you just like have to wait for certain things to happen, where you have to duck down not to get hit by the spikes and just wait it out. And yeah, that's just generally not fun. I don't like waiting in my video games. But for the time attack, you're not going to be waiting at all. You'll be going very fast. And as you can see here, I'm gonna speed through this part. You barely make it out. Yep. And this part is very annoying. I hated doing this part on the regular level, and that's no different than time attack. Every time I made it here, I just like, it's like, yeah, this part, I hate it. And then you see I'm going really slow here, so that first half of the level, you can do a lot to save a lot of time, so that in this last bit, you can go a bit slower and still make it with plenty of time to spare. As you can see, I was not doing well at the end there, man. But still, squeaked out 123. Moving on. 266 Cliffside Slide. This is actually probably one of my favorite levels in the game from like the look of it alone. Rank 101 in the world. Yeah, this level's look is very cool, and the platforming is very interesting and cool. Just like a very fun level to go through. Like a lot of interesting platforming bits here too. Where, yep, just like a lot of weaving platforms and stuff. It's just very unique and interesting. Nothing I've ever seen before. And that's where I love coming to these DKC games, that they really do have such unique, different, aspects about them that you don't really see at all in other platformers. Here we go. Going through it with Dixie, you kind of have like a easy kind of safeguard in case you like miss a certain jump or something. So every time you use her, the levels do become a bit easier, just in case like you make a mistake, don't like platform correctly. You always have that little safeguard of like a flutter with her. And then again, like right there, she can also help get you like certain places higher up. And then right here, you're gonna wanna roll right off into the barrel, but then you wanna hit at the right time to be launched up and end the level right here. That end bit is really cool, where you roll off the side into the barrel without even seeing it. I always really like that. Thought it was also pretty cool. Moving on. 6-7. I am ranked number 81. Wow. That is really high up. I didn't know I got like, I think the highest was like 69 on a previous level, but I didn't know I got so many like high up ranks for some of these levels. Ah yes, I remember this one. This is a really cool level. It's like you're in some like weird generator room, and it has just a lot of cool, interesting electric kind of design and platforming that you'll see. It also makes for a pretty fun speed level, because you have to like make all these different cycles with the platforms to make sure you don't get hit, and it's just like very fun and interesting. So as you can see, when they go over those little electric orb things, they're not safe to step on. So it means you really do have to hit certain cycles every single time. This part I always struggled on right there. Almost got hit a lot of, you'll see I like slid through the cracks almost like every single time here. But yeah, just really fun speedrun level right here. So many interesting bits of just fun platforming. This is like one of the levels I feel that was like made to be speedrun. Like their intention through making it was like, how can we make a fun level, but also how can we make it fun so that when they go for the speedrun, it's like very satisfying to do so. And I feel like that philosophy is just like shown through with this level specifically, because it's just really fun to speed through. Everything just like falls into place when you're going through it. Alright, next up, 6-8 Dynamite Dash. This level, very annoying. Because you just have to wait a lot during it, and I got 109 in it. But you just have to wait a lot during it. You have to hit platforms, wait for some explosions to go off till you could go. But then there's also like a vine section near the end, so that part is really easy. So this one just comes down to just like being able to do certain segments really fast, then you gotta wait, then do a certain segment very fast, then you gotta wait, and then you just do an automated vine segment at the end, which isn't hard at all. See right there, I messed up. This part, I know you could get a certain cycle where you can do it faster. I was just never able to do it no matter what I did, so I played it always a bit safer there. And this part you can just spam right through and you're good. You'll be good every time. And then here we go is our first bit of vine, but you'll be seeing that like a big section like right at the end of the level. Yeah, for a lot of these 2-minute levels, they definitely seem more like intimidating, but then you actually play them and realize, oh, it's actually not that bad. Once you're in the level, it feels like natural to just go through it, and you don't even realize, oh, like 2 minutes have passed, and I just failed to run. You don't really realize that. For this part, you can go on this first platform and slide under the second one if you're fast enough, but once again, was never able to do that because I was just never fast enough there. Here we go, the vine segment. Again, nothing you can do here, and this is like the end of the level basically. So if you're on good pace here, then you'll be good. You just can't screw up hitting the barrel at the end, which I'm pretty sure in one of my runs, I don't know if it was this level specifically, but I got to the end and just pressed B instead of holding it down, meaning I did like a small jump instead of a big one, and so I had to restart the whole level and I missed it by like a single second. Just like that stuff is very annoying if you do it. Next up, 6B. I ranked in at 203, and this is another Dixie Kong level, Icicle Arsenal. Don't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, this level is pretty forgettable. There's not much really interesting about this one. It kind of combines that like whole thing where you grab, like, yeah, right here where you grab onto the ceiling with the grass, and a lot of like barrel stuff near the end. But yeah, this level is not that interesting, and it's also not that really fun to speed through. There's not really like any interesting strats, at least like for the first half of it. Near the end there's some cool stuff you can do, but yeah, not the most interesting level in my opinion. Remember this being kind of annoying because I'd always get hit, and you need Dixie Kong for like certain parts at the end of the level. Specifically at the very end you need her, because there's one part where if you don't have her, like literally at the very end of the level, you're screwed. Here you go. Bounce right there. And then these parts you can do a lot of cool skips, where right here you can like jump off and go straight to the barrel with Dixie Kong. And then I don't think you want to spam here, but you also want to try going fast. Just don't get hit by the icicles. And right here you want to go as soon as that happens. And then if you don't have Dixie Kong there, then you're kind of screwed, because you have to wait for the platform to like tilt, and then you gotta slide jump up there. And yeah, if you don't have Dixie there, then that's basically like a restart. Alright, next up, 6-8, second to last level in this world. This Cranky Kong level, and I ranked 222, but this is also a Rambi level. And again, I got a little bit scared because I got flashbacks to World 2 with that Rambi level with Cranky Kong. But thankfully this one you actually play as Rambi, and there's not really much you can do to save time here, so it's really just like play the level really fast. And there's not really much you can do with Cranky Kong either. So you just kind of play the level as Rambi. You want to always be boosting through every part. Again, you want to jump as little as possible with Rambi, because that like kills momentum, as I said before. But yeah, this level is actually just like pretty fun to speed through. Again, one of those levels that like everything just flows together perfectly. Even though there are a lot of these slowdown segments, when the level does get flowing, it flows together really well. This part here, you want to like learn the timing of when to shoot your barrel, because if you go too quick, then you just like immediately die. Like that. Go down here. See, a lot of times I like try to jump before you're supposed to, and that is like always like near death. So you don't want to do that. And this part, this end part's pretty fun to just blast through. And then right here, you gotta jump at the right point. I could have probably jumped like way earlier there. There we go, this part you gotta wait. Every time I got to this level, like replaying it, I would just blast through straight through that and die immediately. So you do not want to do that. Here you go, this part you can really just like blast through, no worries. And then right here you want to jump immediately and you're done. And now we're gonna move on to the boss, which is probably the second hardest time attack in this game in my opinion, because this one took me like 2 or 3 hours to do because it's just so annoying. But I use Diddy here, 275 in the world. You'll see like some people use Dixie, but I just think Diddy is like, he helps me to be more consistent when hitting the boss, which is why I chose to use him over Cranky or Dixie. So let's get through that. This boss is really annoying because you only have one opportunity to hit him, and you have to hit him 3 times in a row, and if you miss even one hit, then that's an automatic restart. But here you want to be quick with throwing at him. There is like instances where you can throw while he's moving and like hit him, but I highly recommend to just like wait till he stops, because if you miss, that's like an instant restart because you're just taking too much time. So yeah, these parts where he's like charging at you, it seems easy, and it is easy for like the first phase, but he gets progressively faster. Specifically in the second and third phase, each time you hit him, he gets faster and faster, and that comes in to be an extreme annoyance when you're trying to tackle this boss. And just like every time you miss even once, I had to restart, because again, missing once, you'll lose the shiny gold medal. So just not a very fun boss to do. I did these sections, specifically these first 2 phases, like a bajillion times over. The third phase is really easy because it's just the first and second combined together with like one more part at the beginning. So not too bad. Got it there. I would always lose at the second phase though, so every time I got to the third, which starts right here, I would always be very nervous and then just mess up. So this one I was like extremely locked in, extremely nervous. These parts with these dragons here, these ice dragons, are always very easy. There's certain platforms they only hit once, and once you just like get to that platform, you're good for the rest of it. Then he shoots out these projectiles you can hit back. He does always like move to the same place, so that's consistent. You're gonna want to throw to the same place every time. And then here, I was extremely nervous. I knew I had to get him 3 times in a row. Boom once. So when he shakes his head and puts his hands on his helmet, that means he's about to go, so you just gotta remember that. And I was extremely excited when I hit him right there, because that boss really did suck. but I got it done. So that's World 6 done. Again, this is probably like the second worst world because there's just so many levels and that boss fight is just very difficult. But now we can finally move on to the 7th and final world. Thankfully there's only 3 levels here and they're not too bad to speedrun, even though they are just like base level difficulty. Like they're just difficult levels. And this is ranked, I'm ranked 209. This level, there is some speed bits you can do at the first bit right here and at the end. But the whole middle section of this level is like extremely automated and there's not much you can do there. And right there I messed up too. So again, very lenient times, which just makes World 7 just like very easy to go through. Specifically the second level in this world is just extremely easy, especially for like, you know, we're on the final world. Our blaster there, and this is the middle part where it's just automated. There's nothing you can do here to save time, except at the very end you can jump into the barrel, and you're gonna want to jump like early so you get in right when it like spawns. And you'll see me attempt that right here. And in this part you just gotta memorize where you want to jump and where you want to use cranky and everything. That part, very annoying. You can go super fast through that part. I wasn't able to do it. And then in the end here, you can also go very fast through another part. I think I attempt right here. Do not achieve it, but I am still able to recover and get this level done. So yeah, I messed up like 3 different times there. Was still able to do it. Moving on to the second last level in the game. Rocket Rails. This is basically a vehicle level with some platforming in between. I am ranked 85 in the world for this one, wow. And these levels are also very easy because other than the first one, you don't need to use any animal buddies with you, so you're good. You don't have to use any buddies. So it just makes these more consistent in my opinion. In this level again, you have some platforming, but then right here we immediately launch into a vehicle segment 11 seconds in. And again, nothing you can really do here. So I think there's one other vehicle segment with a rocket barrel. And yeah, these vehicle segments just make this level super easy. You just have to memorize the small little platforming sections, which don't take a lot of time at all. This one, again, very easy like movements you have to do, nothing really complex. Blaster here, get the rocket barrel. And then the last segment I think is a bit more tough because there's a lot of like bouncing off of like certain enemies and stuff. But again, just like very easy compared to regular platforming levels. But these vehicle segments are probably the most difficult in the game, but that's because there's a lot of memorization, kind of like trial and error. So once you memorize them, they become very trivial. There we go, a lot of bouncing off enemies, as I said, and like using these bouncy platforms. But again, I'm not going like the fastest here, and I was still able to do it. So 1, 2, and then we're at the end already. Boom, able to do it. Now we move on to the final and probably my favorite level in the game for its like design, aesthetic, everything. Just an extremely cool level. You'll see it in a second. You got here crazy clouds. Final level. So let's see where I placed for the final level. Came in at 210th place. So not that high up, unfortunately, but I did not go as fast as I could in this level. Near the end, there's like a skip you can do, which I just did not want to risk it. And I guess like good on me for not doing that, because I was able to get this probably like quicker than if I like would attempt to do that ending skip. But yeah, this level is just really fun to blast through, as well as just like play through regularly. It's just a very interesting level that has like a lot of good design with all these like shit parts and stuff. Here we go. Get to jump through there. Boom. Like that. This part's really fun, bouncing off the different enemies. And then a part coming up is also really fun. I think it comes up right after this part. Yeah, you jump here, and then this part's really fun. Just a lot of like skipping certain sections by bouncing off enemies. Yeah, really fun. And then this is the end here. This part is easy. And then you slide jump off that. And then right here you can like slide jump and like get crazy momentum and just be launched to the barrel immediately, but I did not do that and still managed to get the shiny gold medal. And that is the last one for this game. That's all of them. Complete commentary, talk through all of them. And that's gonna be it for this video. Let me know what you guys think, if you guys are gonna go for this, if you have gone for it, and what are your thoughts on these. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.